If you've got a P0420 or P0430 code on your scanner, you're likely dealing with a catalytic converter efficiency issue. But don't be so quick to replace that expensive part. These codes are triggered when your vehicle's computer sees the rear oxygen sensor mimicking the front sensor more than it should, indicating that the converter may not be doing its job. But here's the thing, the converter is often just the messenger, not the culprit. In this video, we'll break down exactly how the catalytic converter works, what really causes it to fail, and how to properly diagnose the system before throwing parts at the problem. Stick around. This might just save you hundreds of dollars. Let's start by understanding what's actually inside a catalytic converter and how it works to clean up the exhaust before it exits the tailpipe. Inside the catalytic converter, you'll typically find one or more ceramic honeycomb bricks. These bricks aren't solid. They're made up of hundreds of tiny square or hexagonal channels per square inch, known as cells. This honeycomb structure is designed to maximize surface area while keeping exhaust flow resistance low. But the real magic happens on the surface of those channels. Each cell wall is coated in a wash coat, which has a rough, porous texture at the microscopic level. This wash coat serves as the foundation for the catalyst material, which includes precious metals like platinum, palladium, and rhodium. As hot exhaust gases pass through these channels, they make physical contact with the catalyst-coated walls. That's all it takes to trigger a catalytic reaction. There's no spark or external power, just heat and contact. The catalyst facilitates oxidation and reduction reactions, meaning it helps convert harmful gases into less harmful ones. Nitrogen oxides are reduced to nitrogen and oxygen. Carbon monoxide is oxidized into carbon dioxide. Unburned hydrocarbons are broken down and turned into water vapor and carbon dioxide. The wash coat also contains helper elements like cerium and lanthanum that store and release oxygen as needed. This stored oxygen helps fine-tune the catalytic reactions, especially during transitions between lean and rich air-fuel conditions. Overall, when functioning properly, a modern catalytic converter can reduce up to 90% of harmful tailpipe emissions. But not all converters are created equal. Different vehicles and emission standards call for different catalyst formulations, and even small differences in how those formulations are applied can impact efficiency. Now let's talk about what causes a catalytic converter to fail, and here's where a lot of P0420 trouble codes trace their roots. The converter itself is usually the victim, not the culprit. To operate at peak efficiency, a catalytic converter depends on a very specific balance of exhaust gases, what we call stoichiometry, which is about 14.7 parts air to 1 part fuel by weight for gasoline engines. This air-fuel ratio is the sweet spot where the catalytic reactions are most efficient at reducing pollutants. When the mixture strays too far to either side, too rich or too lean, that balance is disrupted and the converter can't clean the gases properly. More importantly, persistent air-fuel imbalances can damage the converter over time. Let's say an engine is running rich, more fuel than air. That unburned fuel enters the exhaust stream and hits the converter while it's already operating at high temperatures. The result? Overheating and even meltdown of the ceramic substrate inside. Or if there's engine misfiring, raw fuel can enter the catalytic converter and ignite inside it. This can destroy the internal honeycomb brick. On the flip side, a lean mixture leads to excess oxygen in the exhaust stream, which can raise the operating temperature too high and promote thermal degradation of the catalyst. Oil consumption, coolant leaks, or long-term use of fuel with harmful additives can also coat or contaminate the catalyst surface, reducing its ability to facilitate chemical reactions. What's important to understand is that the converter doesn't suddenly go bad on its own unless it's physically damaged or extremely old. It typically fails due to upstream problems: faulty oxygen or MAF sensors, vacuum leaks, leaking or dirty injectors, a bad engine coolant temperature sensor sending a false cold signal, worn piston rings, or other issues affecting combustion. That's why when diagnosing a P0420 code, you don't just jump to replacing the catalytic converter. You start by confirming that the engine is operating at or near stoichiometry, the upstream oxygen sensor is responding properly, and the downstream sensor isn't indicating inefficiency due to upstream faults. The first step to properly diagnose P0420 code is to do a thorough visual inspection. That means physically checking the exhaust system from front to back. Look for obvious damage, corrosion, or signs of leakage, especially around gaskets, weld seams, and hanger brackets. Any crack or hole can allow fresh air to enter the exhaust stream, which tricks the downstream oxygen sensor into thinking the catalytic converter isn't doing its job, even when it is. Even small leaks upstream of the catalytic converter can pull in extra oxygen, skewing the readings on your downstream O2 sensor. Next, check for any additional diagnostic trouble codes. A P0420 code rarely shows up alone, and if you've got cylinder misfire codes like P0300, that's a major red flag. Misfires are catalytic converter killers. They send raw fuel down the exhaust, which burns inside the converter and can cause it to overheat and break down. So, if there's a P0300 or any code related to the ignition system, injectors, or compression, resolve that first, because the root cause of the converter's inefficiency could be upstream in the combustion process, not in the converter itself. Now comes the critical part, monitoring the oxygen sensors, especially the rear or downstream sensor. Using a scan tool, graph the voltage output of the downstream O2 sensor while running the engine under different driving conditions. A properly functioning catalytic converter should flatten that signal, meaning the downstream sensor's voltage should stay relatively stable, generally above 450 millivolts. If you see consistent switching back and forth, like the upstream sensor does, it means the converter isn't effectively storing oxygen or processing pollutants. The upstream O2 sensor is just as important, as most of catalytic converter failures trace back to a faulty or lazy upstream oxygen sensor. This sensor is the main feedback device the ECU uses to manage fuel trim. If it responds slowly or inaccurately, it can lead to a chronic rich or lean condition, damaging the converter over time. Make sure this sensor is switching properly and isn't weak, fouled, or out of spec. To perform this test accurately, you'll need a reliable OBD2 scanner. Click the link in the description to get one and take the guesswork out of your diagnostics. If you want to dive deeper into diagnosing oxygen sensors, check out my detailed video on bad O2 sensor symptoms and replacement. Just click the card on your screen. And if you find this kind of content helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss future diagnostics and repair guides. Another powerful test is the oxygen storage capacity test. This involves forcing the engine into a rich condition, usually by snapping the throttle or inducing a fuel-rich mixture, and then letting it swing back lean. What you're looking for is the delay between when the upstream sensor goes lean and when the downstream sensor follows. If the rear sensor takes at least 2 seconds longer to react, that indicates the converter is still capable of storing and using oxygen, which means it's still functioning. Anything quicker than that, and you may be looking at a compromised catalytic substrate. Don't overlook cylinder imbalance either. If one cylinder is consistently running rich or lean compared to the others, this can create excessive emissions, especially hydrocarbons and oxides of nitrogen. Many advanced scan tools have dedicated tests that can detect it. While you're there, it's also a good idea to check engine compression. If compression is off in one or more cylinders, you could be dealing with incomplete combustion, and that can increase hydrocarbon emissions that overwhelm the catalytic converter. It is also smart to inspect spark plugs for signs of fouling, wear, or uneven burn patterns. Plugs that are worn or carbon fouled can directly lead to poor combustion and increased emissions. For the most complete picture, you can use a 5-gas analyzer. This tool reads oxygen, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, hydrocarbons, and oxides of nitrogen NOx. It's especially helpful when you're trying to interpret emissions behavior. Finally, consider the role of the ECU itself. While rare, corrupted programming or failing sensor input interpretation can result in incorrect air-fuel metering and fuel trim behavior, always make sure the latest software updates are installed and the ECU is interpreting sensor data correctly. So in summary, only when you've confirmed the converter itself is the bottleneck and not a symptom should you consider replacement.